Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I've got a great guest on today, Shai Goitein from Powerup, and he is the inventor and creator of that really cool paper airplane kit that we reviewed that is now my #2 video on the channel. So first of all, welcome Shai. Thank you for taking some time to chat with us today. Tell me about Powerup 3.0 and how you got to where you are with it, because there was another version that was a little less smart than this version is. But tell us about the product, how it works, and what people can expect from it.
Okay, so thanks, Lon, for giving me the opportunity here. So Powerup 3.0, this product here that you actually tested as well, this is I'd say, our third generation product, which primarily takes our brand to the next level, Powerup, which essentially what it does is taking the classic, origami airplane and connecting a piece of technology to it. Of course, the Powerup 1 and Powerup 2, which are still selling, essentially enable taking a simple paper airplane, adding a propulsion system, and making it free fly. Powerup 3 takes it to the next level, putting into it, we could say RC, but also smartphone control, and really giving it, that surprising magical edge that we introduced through Kickstarter. And we've seen, so many people using it, flying it. Every day we get new videos from our community, and it's really amazing to see how people worldwide are engaging through this amazing product, which is really great to see happening.
And do you have a background in aviation or something? How did you come to design paper airplanes that can be powered by your smartphone?
Yeah, so I think I'm kind of a mix. First of all, I am a flight enthusiast. I always been, dreamt on flying stuff. Been a pilot myself, flying gliders and paragliders and real airplanes for many years. And of course, also as a hobby, I loved indoor micro aircrafts and stuff like that. So, and on the other hand, my profession is a designer, inventor. I worked many years in industrial design, and designed and invented toys for the industry. So when this idea came up, I actually did not think about commercializing it. I just thought, hey, this is a great idea. I'll make it for myself, and play with it. And after I realized that it actually works, and I said, hey, I can't keep this secret from the world. I got to share it. And because I had the experience of how to design and make something that you can actually produce and commercialize, I went through this design process, which brought it to real life. And yeah, now we're able to provide this robust system that actually can turn paper airplanes into real flying machines.
It's pretty neat. And the first version, I guess it was a Powerup 1 and a Powerup 2. Those were just, you would just start it and let it go, right? And you couldn't really control it unless you made the airplane a certain way. Were those Kickstarters also, or was just the third one that became the Kickstarter?
Yeah, the first two are actually supercapacitor driven, so they're a much simpler system. You just need a pack of batteries. You supercharge it for 15 to 20 seconds, and they would go. An airplane could fly up to a minute. It's actually really cool because it's a very simple product, and it could also work for younger kids, and you don't have to have a smartphone for it. Of course, you can't control it. The cool factor is that it will fly depending on how your airplane is constructed. So if you have larger wings, it'll fly for a longer time, altitude, etc. With the Powerup 3, it's really all about maneuverability control. And also you have a very long flight duration compared to a simple paper airplane. It could fly, depending on your aircraft, but it can actually get almost up to 10 minutes of continuous flight. So that's quite amazing.
It's really neat. And I guess there's been some educational things that have come out of this also. Did you expect this to become a tool for educators? So I guess you can really learn a lot about aerodynamics just by changing the folds of your airplane a certain way and making it work a little bit differently.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this project is that as you make it, you learn how, by engaging with customers, how people are using it. And a few years ago, when we launched the Powerup 1 and 2, we learned that teachers are actually buying our kits and teaching aerodynamics and using it for STEM education, after-school programs, and also for aerodynamic classes and science classes in elementary and K2. So We actually worked with an origami STEM educator and origami master to develop this program for teaching aerodynamics. We have it free on our website, and we see how teachers are using it. I think the core about our concept of Power Up is that it's challenging. It won't always work on the first time. You have to. It's not something that's ready out of the box. You actually make the product, and you actually go through a learning process of trial and error. It's like a science problem, and through that problem, you learn how to improve it, and it's almost addicting. I mean, you tried it, right? It's
Oh yeah.
Once you get it working, you say, "Oh, I got to make it work better and better and better." So you constantly actually improve it, and in the end of the day, it also makes you feel really good about yourself because you did something great.
It really does, because it was funny because it didn't take me all that long to get it figured out, because what I did is I went to your website and I saw that you had some great YouTube videos about how to fold things. Because I'm one of these people that needs to see all the different folds
Right.
and how to make it. I was looking at the template. I was like, oh, I'm not going to even get started with this. And then I went on the website, made the basic, the simple design, and then I started tweaking some of the flaps and doing some different things. And as you're talking, I've been overlaying some footage here. I'll put it back on again of just what it looks like when it's flying around. So you can really get it going in a good, kind of a good circle here, or have it go straight somewhere. And I also found that just adjusting the throttle would be enough to give it a little bit more altitude as well as speed, which was pretty neat. So it was just a lot of fun just to go through that trial and error, and to see the kinds of changes that might happen if you adjust something on there. What's your favorite design? Which one have you found to be the design that you like the best for a paper airplane with your kit?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, because what I find is that I'm never bored with this product. Almost every other week, I find a new design that actually works and flies differently. Some new designs are recently, for example, I got in touch with John Collins, the paper airplane guy, or he's the world record breaker. He actually, gave me a freebie design that he prepared specifically for Power Up, and it's really awesome. It's really easy to fly. Another design that I invented before that, I call it the Invader, which is a bit more difficult to fold but flies really easy. The one that I like the most is the one that I think everybody knows how to fold and flies really well. It's called the Nakamura. This one is known worldwide. It's almost like the Dart, and it's very stable. It's very easy to fly. It always works. So I would say I like the Nakamura. That's the one that I vote for.
And I think that's the one that I tried first as well, just because that seemed to be like the beginner's stage here, to get it up and running. Because I think you need to get that confidence of it flying in the right direction, which is always important. So so tell me about Kickstarter. So we see these Kickstarter projects begin. I've invested, I guess you could say, in quite a few. I found that some are better at delivering than others. You have a lot of experience in the toy industry. What kind of advice would you give to people? I mean, can you just have an idea and do it, or do you think you need to have some infrastructure first?
I think anybody that wants to do something, not just Kickstarter, I mean anybody that wants to take that entrepreneurial path, you need some, guts and boldness to do something, because you have to take a lot of responsibility on many areas, from safety to production to certification to everything that has to do and fulfillment. So no doubt, I think great projects can come up from people that don't have any experience, or people that have also a lot of experience. I think experience does help. Regarding the actual challenges of fulfillment, I mean, you always can hit a roadblock in a project. We had a huge project compared to what we planned. It was almost more than 10 times bigger than what we planned. And most of the project went quite smooth. It was a complex project. We did have some issues towards the end with fulfillment, unfortunately. We had goods being lost in shipping, a lot of issues there, and that was kind of painstaking. But in the end of the day, we were able to ship all of our backers the goods, and I think within a reasonable time compared to other projects. I know that have difficulties, so I think we could say that we did have a successful project. A good tip that I could give is that just keep it simple and stupid. Don't try to put those stretch goals. Keep the amount of rewards really minimal. I think for the backers, in the end of the day, if there is a good product, it's not so important to create all this diversity, because this diversity for the project owner introduces a lot of complexity and sometimes can be a showstopper. And another important, I think, lesson that I've learned, from our mistakes, is that if you do find that you made a mistake, and that's natural, that could happen, don't be afraid to share it with your backers. You'll get a shitstorm. Some people, will tell you, hey, why did you do that, whatever. But it's better to deal with it early than deal with it later when it's much more difficult to fix. So it's okay being apologetic. Share with your backers your problems, and once you're over the issue, everybody will forget about it and you move on. And so that's something I would warmly recommend.
And I guess for you as a designer, it must have been a very different experience, because typically you would design a product, have it manufactured, and the retailers would kind of be that go-between, right, between the customers and you. What did you learn along the way? Was it something that, this obviously, as you said, it was 10 times bigger than you thought it was going to turn into. Did you have one of those, oh my gosh, how do we deal with this moments? What did you learn, and how did you maybe change how you interact with customers as a result?
Yeah, actually, and now I remember it's actually more than 20 times bigger.
Wow.
But yeah, so I think, can you reiterate the question? I'm sorry, I got
Yeah,
distracted.
that's okay. That's all right. No, I was curious, just, there's this barrier between typically the designer and the public.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah. So what did you learn? Like, how was this? How did you adapt to this? Because were you prepared for that, and how did you adapt to it when the project really took off?
Yeah, so you mentioned being able to, the model that works directly with retailers versus going direct with the customer. So when I started up this brand, Powerup, this was actually part of my philosophy. As a designer, I worked many years in corporate companies, giving design services, and as a service provider, you never really get, you usually don't have that privilege of being in touch directly with your end customer. You're actually developing or designing a product for somebody to use, but there are so many people in between. You have yourself, you have the project manager, the sales guy, the marketing guy, so many people in between, and you actually don't have a clue how your product is being used, if customers are happy with it, and what it's doing to their lives. And I think one of the most amazing things with crowdfunding, even sometimes overwhelming, is that your ability to touch people directly, through the Kickstarter project or through social media. You can literally get direct feedback. People can be really nice, sometimes not so nice, really, but you have to take it, not, with a grain of salt, not to take it too personally. You put your face out there, and it's great when you celebrate when it succeeds, and when not, you have to deal with it. I think it's a great way of doing products these days, and it's a great opportunity for customers to being able to interact with the makers, and for the makers really being able to get that feedback and making better products, making the correction cycle much faster. And eventually, it's a big gain for those that are using and inventing the products.
And did your contacts in the manufacturing industry, in the toy industry, for all the time that you've spent as a designer, do you think that helped be able to deliver a product that you could deliver when you went 20x beyond the initial projection?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, we couldn't have done it without our relationships, in manufacturing. If I had the task of doing it in my own garage or whatever, this would have been probably a lifetime task to assembling each unit. So being able to have that know-how of how to produce, and production is not just production. It's a whole process of a quality control and a design for assembly, and you have to have everything also. In Kickstarter, you can actually lose your pants if you're not if you're not really structuring the project properly, so you have to see that the costing is prepared properly. And at the end of the day, of course, it's a team effort, and we had a great team, not just the production, by the way. We had a great PR team, we had a great marketing team, we had a great team, helping us fulfill. It's a big effort, and together it's like, or you orchestrate it into making it happen.
Right. So it's, and I've seen a huge variety of skill sets, I would say, that these backers are bringing to us. Sometimes you have a really good device that's well designed and really cool, but they just can't deliver because of all the other factors that go into making something like this. I mean, one of the things that I had a lot of confidence about with your project was, I think, the quality of your video. I'm playing it right now while we're talking here. The quality of the video was really good to introduce what the product was about. There was a history, there was a background there, and I think that's something that when people get on Kickstarter, they really have to think about those things before they get moving. If somebody has a good idea, where do you go to find some of these manufacturers? I mean, you obviously had contacts in the toy industry. Do you suggest maybe people try to do a little bit of that research up front before they start putting their video up on Kickstarter to make all this work?
Well, once you press that green button on Kickstarter and the project goes live, and if you're fortunate enough and it actually explodes and becomes huge, the clock starts ticking, and you don't really have time to start investigating, hey, who should I work with? Because you really need to start moving fast. People are waiting and waiting for their product. So I would say, I could look at in retrospective what I did, and I didn't plan Kickstarter, from day one. I actually just started producing products, and I had some experience there. If you could, before you go to Kickstarter, get dirty a bit and try to get experience in manufacturing something and fulfilling it, even if it's in a small scale. That'll give you a lot of experience. I mean, if it's your first time and you have a really huge project, it could be very difficult, and there are a lot of places where you could fail. Because any project like this, you always fail somewhere. I mean, it'll never work out 100%. So just to minimize the risk, I think it's good to get some experience. Or you can partner with very experienced service providers that can help you, hold your hand, guide you. And this is very common these days. There are more and more people out there that either did Kickstarter or have experience in, guiding these projects in developing, manufacturing, fulfilling, etc., marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to think about when you get into it. So this was successful. I would imagine you probably don't want to stop here. What's next? Do you have other ideas that you want to start pursuing? Are you looking at a Powerup 4.0, or is it more now just kind of keeping up with demand? Because I'll tell you what, just the viewership on that video is like 5x what I would typically get for something like this. It's just it's amazing just how much interest there is in this product. So is there plans for more things? I have somebody who's asking if there was a way to know how fast the plane was going on the app, which of course it can't do that as far as give you an exact speed. But are those the sorts of things you're thinking about for the future?
Yeah, I'm actually writing down that comment. So yeah, for sure. I mean, this is our third generation product. We have other products as well, like we have the Powerup boat and the paper templates and etc. So we are definitely working on the next 2-3 generations of our Powerup systems, and we're scratching our head what it should be, and the biggest challenge is always what you don't want to do, because there are always so many different things you can do. So we're not gonna say what we're doing yet. It's still a secret, and we're working on it. But definitely we have some really exciting stuff that's gonna come up in the next year. Yeah, I think as long as we could keep that secret sauce of Powerup that merges between technology and that do-it-yourself aspect, the challenging scientific aspect that a customer is involved in, I think that will really give a lot of value.
I think it will too, and certainly I've had a lot of fun just playing with the original product there. I had one viewer who wrote in and said they're actually using the Powerup 3.0 as a boat. I guess they're not putting it in the water, but the propeller portion is going in the water, and they're able to control their little paper boats with your products. People are actually doing things beyond just flying with them. They're doing some other stuff too. So it's really neat to see all the different things you can do.
Yeah, I mean, there is a guy that did an amazing project, and every day that I get these things, it's really exciting. He 3D printed an airplane and connected a Powerup system. So it's actually literally a 3D printed smartphone-controlled airplane. And he put this design on Thingiverse, so you can actually look for it. It's not a paper airplane, but it's also a do-it-yourself project connected to this Powerup system. And these are the kind of things that I like to see, that, we're giving a tool that inspires people to invent and make something that works. And of course, if you can share it with everybody, it's great.
It's really cool. I'm sure you must be really surprised by the things that people come up with. There's probably other things that you didn't even think of that people are doing with the product and putting it up on YouTube or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, today I got an email, I just saw YouTube from Australia, that a group of, I think, teenagers are learning aerodynamics, as we talked before. In this course, somebody donated 10 Powerups, and they were flying this in this hall, and it's just great to see what they're doing, what different designs, and that it's really working, and they're getting a positive experience there.
Really cool. Well, Shai, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a really fun product to play with, and it's been great on the channel, and everyone's really been having a good time with it. So really appreciate you taking the time all the way from Israel to talk to us today. So it's amazing how great your Skype connection is. It's actually much better than what I've seen with people right around the corner. So, but definitely keep us in the loop, because if there are new things coming out, I would love to. I got a big backyard out there, so I'm happy to take some new things out for a spin and see how those work. Where can people find all that you're doing and purchase your products?
Yeah, so we have a website, poweruptoys.com, and we're actually we're offering there all of our Powerup designs, and we have now a whole bunch of new collections and accessories. We're actually, since we finished the Kickstarter project, we also have a few, we call it collector's item, which are essentially Kickstarter, the last kits that are left from our Kickstarter. We overproduce, so we'll be able to supply everybody. So those are there, and they're still available. And yeah, poweruptoys.com.
Excellent. Well, Shai, thanks again for joining us, and we will definitely be in touch again, I'm sure, in the future, and I really greatly appreciate it, as do the viewers. And this is Lon Simon. Thanks for watching.